Around the year 2000, Pac-Man was a pretty busy series. The yellow dude broke into 3D with his first ever platforming game in 1999, and just 1 year later, Namco reinvented 3D Pac-Man in a more traditional way with Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. But just around the same time, another Pac-Man game was also released for the PC, just 2 months after Maze Madness. It wasn't a 3D platformer like Pac-Man World, but a more traditional style maze game with 3D graphics. Pac-Man Adventures in Time. I've actually never heard of this game until I got people in the comment section telling me about it. It only came out on PC in the year 2000, so that's probably why. You know, Pac-Man was most dominantly in arcades and on consoles, so having one released just for the computer around the same time as Pac-Man World and Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness probably had to go a little bit under the radar for most people. This one wasn't actually made by Namco. I guess at the time they probably had their arms full with other projects like Maze Madness and the World games, so this one was done by Creative Asylum, a very short-lived company that I had never heard of before. The only other game I could find from them was Mobile One Rally Championship for PlayStation and PC. Never played it or heard of it, but based on these screenshots I found online, it looks like a typical racing game. The company then supposedly went defunct in 2003 after some PS2 and GameCube project they were making got cancelled. I really couldn't find any more information on what this project even was, or even if this info was accurate to begin with, but that's what I found. With the company 6 feet under, the two founders would leave to work at other companies, one of which went to work on the handheld versions of all those LEGO games, and the other would pursue projects like Hydrophobia. A second company was also involved, Mind's Eye Productions. I don't think these guys are around either anymore, but you might know them for making that Sheep game on PS1. Yeah, I really don't have anything for these guys either. They made that Starsky and Hutch game? I don't know. Now, two companies working together in the same game probably does sound like a lot, especially for a game as simple as Pac-Man, but according to the credits between the two studios, there was probably only about 14 people working on it. The rest of the credits belong to Hasbro for marketing, testing, and publishing it. Now, there's a name I haven't heard in ages. These guys published Roller Coaster Tycoon and some of the Tonka games. Now, that's what I would have been playing if I were on the computer when I was like 7. Like the other two companies, this one's been dead for years. Since 2001, actually. Wow. Well, there's a blast from the past for you. I'm a little bit surprised that Namco didn't just publish the game themselves. I mean, like, they normally did around the time, at least in North America anyway, but yeah, I don't know, I guess this time it went to Hasbro, or Infogrames, I can never say that, there's a R in a weird spot. Infogrames actually published this specific copy, which is interesting because that's what Hasbro became after they went defunct in 2001, so that's actually kind of cool that they continued printing copies of this under that label instead, so this must be like a later copy of the game. That's interesting, but yeah, why don't we pop it in and check this game out? It's a PC game, so I have to put it in my computer. Time to bust out my old Windows XP computer again. Oh no, there's my old stupid ass Assassin's Creed wallpaper from like 2012. Say what you will about that one, but I still think it was the last solid one until Origins. And I know people like Black Flag and the ship stuff was cool, but any part of that game that was actually Assassin's Creed gameplay I found super boring. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic. I know I could have easily got this game running on my current PC, but I find it way more fun to run older games on older computers. Oh my god, I haven't seen one of these screens in so long. Look at that. Pac-Man's riding his little pig dude. That is adorable. Oh no, don't let him get you, Pac-Man. Gotta get away. He's having a good time. Oh, I haven't even installed the game yet and he's already having a blast. Do I want to register? Hell yeah, I do. Okay, how old am I? I'm 11 years old, Frankie, Stinky, yeah, that's where I live. That's exactly where I live. Okay, sick. Now you can mail me some updates on your company that's been defunct for 17 years. And the game is now done installing, so let's play it. The game starts out with a pre-rendered cutscene following Inky and Clyde as they bring this mysterious golden orb to this monster guy thing who lives in a cave. I love the sound it makes when they bonk off of each other. It sounds like they're made of hard plastic or something. I also really like how Clyde shakes as the monster takes the orb from him. Really nice attention to detail with the expressions here. We then cut to Pac-Man sleeping peacefully in the middle of the night when he gets a call from Professor Pac, who tells him, no, like that is exactly what he says. Pac-Man then gets out of bed and gets ready to embark on a brand new adventure. So basically that golden orb was an ancient power pellet that protected the planet from evil for over 1,000 years. The ghost then raided this temple and stole it and handed it off to this thing, who smashes it into 4 pieces and scatters it all throughout time. If it really was so important, you'd think they'd have the temple a little bit more locked down. I mean, like, I've seen how dumb these ghosts are. I don't exactly think they'd be competent enough to break into a highly secured area. Professor Pac then sends us back in time to look for the 4 pieces of the artifact. Alright, so the gameplay is pretty basic. You know, you land in a maze, you get all the dots while escaping the pursuit of ghosts. It's as classic Pac-Man gets. The game's got this really nice close-up and dynamic camera that'll change angles and distance as you navigate the maze, but you can also switch to a bird's eye view angle at any time you'd like. I find this distance is more practical, but it also feels so uninvolved and boring, so I try to stick to the close angle as much as I can. Pac-Man also sports a jump in this game, which you can use to hurtle over enemies and obstacles. Pac-Mania had a similar thing, and with the 3D graphics, I guess you could say it plays closer to that than anything else. Pac-Man's journey will take him across 5 different time periods: the Jurassic Era, Ancient Egypt, Medieval Times, the Wild West, and wrapping it all up with the future, which apparently the future is just outer space. You'll flip and flop back and forth between settings as you advance through the game's 45 stages. And sometimes you'll get a little mini-game between levels. These can range from running from something as you collect dots to more traditional mini-games like picking the right cup, shooting galleries, or matching pictures. None of them are really anything to write home about, but I do suppose they're nice distractions to have between levels, and doing well in them will also earn you extra lives, so it's worth giving them your best shot. Now, while the game is just a series of mazes, much like the classic Pac-Man games, there are a number of stage gimmicks here that do make use of the 3D environment. Firstly, we've got hills. You're slow walking up them and fast running down them. It's a very small thing, but it's at least something to consider when dodging enemies and obstacles. But probably the most noteworthy thing it does with the 3D space is having multiple levels to a maze. Some levels will have higher areas, whether it be rooftops, boardwalks, or simply a second floor to a building. These are accessed in a number of different ways, the most basic being a ramp that you just walk up, but other stages will take advantage of elevators. Well, they're not really elevators as much as they are like a tile that floats upward, but you know what I mean. There's also a number of obstacles in any given stage, and for the most part, rather than killing Pac-Man, they'll often just stun him temporarily, giving the ghosts a good chance to catch up. These can range from snakes and jars to spike traps, all the way to electric nodes that'll shock you. They had something similar to this in Pac-Man World 1's mazes, and I really hated them. They would appear in intervals, cutting off your pathways on and off, and in a game where you're constantly being pursued, I just didn't really find it to be a very fair addition. Though I do think they pull it off fairly well here, and it's all thanks to that jump move. If a trap cuts your path off, well, you could be just screwed, but here, you can still manage with some carefully placed jumps. And you can't spam the jump either. It's got a quick cooldown after using it, so you have to use it wisely. Or you can be like me and suck ass at the game and land on everybody and die all the time. Dude, I really love how the ghosts all have different costumes for every level, and I did love how they did this in Maze Madness and Pac-Man World 2, but here, they really went all out. They've got multiple costumes for each era this time. The Egyptian level has ghosts sporting those headdresses that made an appearance in Maze Madness, but there's also mummy ghosts and even ones wearing Anubis ears. Look at these little guys in their cowboy outfits. They've even got these dinky little pistols. That's adorable. If you spend too long in a single stage, one of the 4 ghosts will be replaced with one of the 4 classic ghosts, and I'm not gonna lie, that gigantic "Blinky approaching" message kinda gave me chills. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't meant to be as foreboding as it was, but you know what, that actually really reminds me of, what was it? The submerged castle in Pikmin 2. If you spent too much time on a single floor, the water wraith would come. God, that gave me nightmares as a kid. I don't actually know what the difference between the new ghosts and the old ghosts are supposed to be. Perhaps they're more aggressive? I don't know, I really didn't notice any considerable change in their behavior. Every couple of stages you'll get a fun little CG cutscene, and the quality of these holds up surprisingly well, though I guess that's because the game was on PC instead of console, so the video files didn't have to be compressed as much. That and that they're obviously at a higher resolution. That time travel sequence is eerily similar to the one from from Star Tropics 2. I mean, it's obviously a coincidence, but man, that is uncanny. Maybe somebody on the team played Star Tropics 2 as a kid, and that maybe influenced this cutscene? I don't know, that's probably a stretch, but I don't know, I'd believe it. Now, the most impressive levels in this game are easily the ones that play with gravity. Some stages will wrap around a large cylinder, very Mario Galaxy-esque. Okay, I know it's probably pretty shallow to call everything with sphere walking or gravity-related mechanics Mario Galaxy, but that's the example most people are familiar with, so that's the example I'll use. The one that I found was really cool was this cube. You can walk on all sides of it, but not for too long because you've actually got a grip meter. If it runs dry, you'll plummet to your death. The last one has you walking on the frickin' Silicon Knights logo, but yeah, other than these stages, the game doesn't really do anything revolutionary with the classic Pac-Man formula. It kinda just feels like Pac-Mania with fully 3D graphics and a handful of minor stage gimmicks. I actually had a lot of people telling me to play this game because I seem to rather like Maze Madness, but they're really not similar. Like, Maze Madness does have mazes and grid-based movement as well, yeah, but that was an adventure game. It had like puzzles and stuff. This doesn't have any of that. This is just a straight-up classic level-by-level maze game. But I suppose when it comes to the faithful maze-style Pac-Man games, this is probably the most fleshed out one you're gonna get. Well, at least before we got super crazy with the games like Championship Edition DX and 256. Now, I've got one big fat gigantic criticism of this game, and that would be how the bonus content was handled. Aside from quest mode, there's also maze mode, where you can replay any mazes you've completed in the main quest. There's a handful of bonus mazes that you can unlock by clearing hard mode, but you can't play hard mode until you've cleared medium mode. I'm not even really sure what the difference even is. Maybe the ghost AI is a tad better? Are they faster? I really couldn't spot a significant difference. All it really meant is that I had to replay the entire game a second time just to unlock these bonus mazes. Though some of them are pretty freaking cool. This pyramid one especially. It has you using these lifts to bring you down underneath the pyramids, and I'd rather like this one that connects two sides with these rainbows that you can walk on with an underwater section in between. The last one you get is fashioned after the classic Pac-Man maze, which is kinda cool, I guess. It's not like anything amazing, but it is nice. Now, you might have noticed that selecting these mazes will give you a certain criteria that you can meet, a certain amount of ghosts eaten, and a certain amount of fruits eaten. And if you clear every maze in a set with the given criteria, you will unlock a bonus cutscene. Dude, like I remember Pac-Man World had this awesome blooper reel you can unlock, so let's check this out. I cleared the first set of mazes with all the conditions met. Comedy clip 1. Cool, let's see it. That's it? Oh. After seeing that this is what it was I'm working towards, there was no way I was going to replay the 45 plus mazes in this game, painstakingly 100%ing every single one, so luckily there's a cheat code that unlocks everything at once, so I'm just gonna do that. Okay, we got them all, so let's see what else there is. Oh, Pac-Man burped. Good joke? These movies are really not worth it. I mean, as much as I love blooper reel style CG cutscenes, these ones really kind of fall flat. The comedy clips are the most insulting. It's just cutouts of Pac-Man and the ghosts running around the screen for 4 seconds. Yeah, that great clip, guys. Man, like, hey, why don't you spend like 50 freaking hours 100%ing the Nitro Rad video game? I got a pretty sick reward for you. Oh, what? You did it? All right, I got a pretty funny video to reward you for your effort. Check it out. The only decent one is the last one you get for completely 100%ing the game, and it's Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man dancing on a disco floor, and, you know, that's okay, but man, I really am glad I did not spend all that time 100%ing the game to get these. Fun fact, this one was used in the game's commercial, so you didn't even need to do all of this. If you watch the commercial, you already got the bonus.
Rated E for everyone. It's eat or be eaten.
I guess we've got some other cheat codes as well. We may as well see what those are. Oh yeah, we've got the obligatory extra lives and invincibility codes, which kind of make the game way too easy, but there's some fun ones in here too, like a slow motion code. This one you turn on by typing in Steve Austin. I figured it was some sort of inside joke, maybe poking fun at how one of the developers liked to take his time or something, but I looked at the credits and I couldn't find anyone named this, let alone anyone with the last name Austin. So my second guess naturally was Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I really don't know enough about him to really know if there's a joke here. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm willing to bet that it's totally a reference to the $6 Million Man, that show from the 70s. It had a character named Steve Austin, and it featured a lot of slow motion. There's one that makes you really big, which is pretty fun. You type in, "Honey, I blew up Pac-Man," which is an obvious reference to the movie. Being Pac-Manovich, another film reference, brings the game into first-person mode, though the game is actually unplayable in first-person mode. I highly doubt, I really seriously doubt anyone has ever beat a single level like this. You can't see anything, and the controls become extremely cumbersome. What's worse is that Pac-Man turns invisible so the camera can see through his model, which means the overhead view is now totally worthless because you can't see where you are. I kept getting stuck in this mode too. I would just stop and I wouldn't be able to turn anymore. I could still jump, but I don't know what's going on. The only cheat code I found genuinely helpful was the extra lives code, which I did use now and then just for the sake of not wanting to go all the way back to a save point when I died, mostly just towards the end of the game. Oh yeah, I may as well mention the end of the game. The ending is pretty freaking sick. Pac-Man reunites the ancient power pellet pieces and warps back to the cave monster thing and fires a laser blast at him. He just smokes the dude, it's sick. And then that's it, the game just brings you back to the main menu. You don't even get any credits. You get credits if you quit the game, but I don't know. Older PC games were just like that sometimes, I guess. Weird, I know. Oh, and before I end the video, I should probably at least mention the multiplayer. It's the same 3 game modes from Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness, but they're even more stale and sometimes even broken here. Dot Mania no longer has any power-ups, which makes it now incredibly boring. And I mean, it was way too hectic and hard to tell what was going on, but I would take that over how stale and boring it is here. And I don't know what the deal was with Ghost Tag either. Maybe I just didn't understand the rules, but you don't even get turned back into the ghost when someone gets you, so what's the point then? The thing even had online multiplayer too. Playing games online was not as easy back then as it is now, so imagine trying to get online play to work for something as lame as this. Oh, that would not be worth it. That was okay, 100%ing it is a bad idea, but just playing through the quest mode beginning to end, it's a fairly good time. It's the classic Pac-Man formula brought into 3D with a handful of stage gimmicks that make things at least somewhat fresh. But yeah, if you like the classic Pac-Man games, you really can't go wrong with this one. Though I don't even think there's still a legal way to play this one. It's not for purchase online anywhere. I got my copy on eBay for $9, though I heard it also came in cereal boxes at one point. I mean, not that it would still come in cereal boxes, though that would be pretty sick. But yeah, they ought to get this up on GOG.com for $4 or something. They did that with Rayman, and that was a really good idea. So yeah, I guess as far as cereal box games go, let's say if Roller Coaster Tycoon is an A+ cereal box game, this is a B+ cereal box game. So for a cereal box game, pretty sick game.